Oh my god, my sheet hurts.
Hi guys, so you've probably guessed by now, today's Cavemas video is an interview and I have with me the lovely Julia Callan from Julia K Art Studios. Hi Julia, how are you?
I am very, very well. I am jingling all the way.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, I need to get my festive headgear back on. There, wait, that's better, isn't it? I feel a bit more appropriate now. Okay. So most of you will have heard me talk about Julia in previous videos. We've played with plenty of her paints. Julia is based in Sweden and she hand makes her own watercolor paint. On top of that, she also has a YouTube channel where she shows some of her processes and does some vlogs as well. And I'm sure you'll have seen the lovely Albert, which is her poodle. And he usually features as well. So we thought it would be a good idea to grill Julia and find out a little bit more behind who she is and what's actually involved in paint. So my first question to you, Julia, is why did you decide to start making paint?
Well, the short answer is the answer for pretty much everything I do in my life, and that's because I want to know how. I am one of those who are very curious and I want to know everything and anything. Yeah, and then I loved colour and I realised when you're making paint you can buy more pigments. So, yeah.
More is more.
I mean, I started out with 5 different pigments, some binder, and here we are.
So when you were actually going through that, did you just decide one day, I'd love to figure out how this paint goes together, and like, did you just start researching and just learn as you went?
Handmade watercolor had sort of been like slowly starting to trend a little bit. I saw some others who were trying it out and I had bought a set and I was like, I bet I can try doing this, and I felt like I really needed to do something. And yeah, I dove in. I watched all the videos I could find. I read all the articles and looked at how paint was made before with different pigments and the processes they used. And yeah, I'm sort of starting to settle down to my own way of doing it, but it's changing all the time, so.
So you're keeping up with current paint making trends. I didn't even know that was a thing. I never thought I'd say that sentence. That's super, super, super interesting. So I know personally from watching your videos, and I have to say, watching you actually mix the paint is so relaxing. And I understand that it's a lot of hours of work that goes into actually standing and making the paint. So what does a typical day look like for you? You know, if you're gonna have a day where you're making paint.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it differs very much depending on what kind of day or work day it is. But on a work day where I make paint, I usually try to make my paint early, so before lunch or just after lunch, and that's just because there is bloody bubbles in the paint that will come up later, and then I will have longer or more hours to go and pop the bubbles, because if I make the paint I know, but if I make the paint late at night they will pop during the night. And yes, I have gone out in the middle of the night to go pop bubbles, but I try to be better and plan. So on a good day I try to do 1 or 2 batches of paint. I have made up to 4 or 5, but you know, we need to do stuff in moderation. It takes about an hour and a half to do each batch, to pour everything out, clean up and everything. Maybe some toilet break, lunch, do it again, and yeah.
And that's how you do it. So an hour to an hour and a half. So is that start to finish from when you put the ingredients down until they're actually in the little pans?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a long time.
Yeah, and that time is a little bit sensitive because as we all know, if we have used watercolor from a tube, that paint will dry. And once that paint is dry, you can only reactivate with water, but that won't become like paint, it will just become the pigment that you paint with. So once I have started making it, I can't just walk away and do something else.
Oh, wow.
So either I need to pour it into the cups that they are going to be in, or I have little jars with airtight lids that I can store in the fridge and use them later on. But I need to fully make the paint at once.
Okay. So once you start, you're committed, and this is what's happening and this is what we have to do, and we're not going anywhere else. Until we come back and pop the bubbles.
Yes.
That's a lot more complicated. You're not making this sound very attractive, Julia.
No, I mean it isn't. I think if you're interested in trying out making watercolor just for yourself and doing in small batches, it is fun. But as soon as you level it up and you do bigger batches, it is work. Like it is proper work.
That actually leads quite nicely on to my next question. What would you say are the best and the worst parts of your job?
The best part is that I can explore all the time and I can learn more stuff all the time. I can learn about the pigments, I can learn how to best treat them, and like I said, I love knowing and I'm very curious. The stuff I hate absolutely most is the fact that it's a business. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way or fancy way to say it. I hate bookkeeping, I hate computer work, I just despise all of it. I hate that, oh crap, I just ran out of gloves, or I ran out of honey. I need to be on top of so many things, and I hate that.
So that would you say that's kind of like an added stress then, and it kind of takes away from the fun stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think in some case it can be fun to do product research and like what we can do next and trying different pigments and all that. But stuff like I keep buying the same thing over and over, it just feels like
not quite as exciting.
It's not exciting at all. And then you have the call from the accountant saying, well, you're kind of late with this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I really don't care. But then the tax, stuff, so...
Yeah, you kind of have to do some adulting. That's going to have to happen. So what's the best part then?
Well, I think just that I can keep learning and keep growing in it. I feel like I can't create new colors. I mean, all the colors are taken, sort of. But I can make them my own, and I can present them in a different way or connect them to something else that maybe somebody else haven't thought of. And my hope is that me connecting them in different ways will spark something else in somebody else that will connect and spark something else. That's sort of the chain of inspiration that just keeps putting on sparks.
That's really interesting, because that's something that I find as well. If you can motivate or inspire someone to do something from what you're doing, that's where the satisfaction comes from. And I don't know about you, but I find that in turn also motivates me to do other things and create other things.
Yeah.
It's funny that.
And seeing what people create with the colors, or just when I package orders and I see what type of color combination they put together, it makes me like, oh, I never thought about doing those two or those three together. Yeah. I might need to try that. So I get so much inspiration back from my own stuff.
So now that you've got all this inspiration, what do you see in the future for Julia K Art Studio?
Oh, I hope that the art studio will grow, but I don't know how to put it into the right words. A lot of editing for Gem. I see that in the future. Okay.
You mean?
No, I think my dream vision for the art studio is to continue with the core of what I have with the watercolor and the sort of stationery sticker art stuff, but I would really like to sort of branch out a little bit more to more physical stuff. I would love to have a bigger studio where I could take in customers to have like classes on doing handmade watercolor, or also have that you can sort of be more order your own sort of, so even if you can't come to Sweden and make them, that you can sort of place order with what pigments you would like to have mixed in. A little bit more, I would like to have more like a physical experience with it. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, when you're ready to do that, I'm coming to Sweden to make watercolor because I want to pop the bloody bubbles.
Oh yeah, it is so satisfying.
That sounds amazing though, like workshops and like a more hands-on experience. I think that sounds really, really good. Plus as well, obviously as a person that likes to learn, I like to learn too, but you do. And because you invest a lot of time into that sort of things, you then are able to pass it on in a really good way to anyone that you're teaching. That sounds amazing. Oh, Julia Kay workshops. Do you get to pet Albert if you come for a paint workshop?
I think that is mandatory. He would not let you come in otherwise. So that's
That's so good.
Yeah, he's not happy with me right now, but otherwise, yeah.
Okay, it'll be fine. It'll be all right. Okay, so now that we've heard a little bit about the business side of things, I'd quite like to talk about a little bit more about your personal art journey. So can you kind of, like in that sort of condensed form, because we don't want this video to be 12 hours long, could you give us like the shortened version of how you started arting and kind of what happened along the way to get you to where you are now?
I think I've always been a very crafty person. It was very encouraged when I was like in daycare and then up to school. There was a lot of creative stuff through learning. And I very quickly found scrapbooking, which was like, I love this. And the more I kept reading scrapbooking and discovered YouTube, I sort of flowed into the mixed media world where you sort of combine the crafting with the artistic. And then when I got to what you would call like high school, I sort of moved away from home. It was a boarding school. And I started taking up drawing. The two people that I shared my room with was both very artistic and they drew too. So we sort of had that together. And I sort of found my place, sort of. I loved drawing and very quickly I found watercolor. And yeah, it's sort of, it's been a lot of watercolor ever since.
So what drew you specifically to watercolor then? You know that I've had a love-hate relationship with watercolor from the beginning, and I'm curious as to why it appeals to you.
I think mostly it was a medium that it was quite easy to get my hands on. I mean, you sort of have it a little bit in school, you know, with those really chalky filled cakes, like
the Crayola ones, yeah. I know the ones. I think everyone knows them. Ooh. Yeah, I've actually heard a lot of people talk about the White Nights paint being a really good starter set. They're quite affordable as well, aren't they? There you go, there's a handy hint for everybody else as well. So we can make the assumption that watercolour is your favourite medium. What is a medium that you avoid at all costs?
oil.
Oil paint.
Yep.
And why would that be?
I don't like it.
I know the answer to this already.
No, I mean, it's unfair, but I feel it's unfair to say that I don't like it. I think it's more fair to say I haven't given a proper chance. But I have to say, like I said, my background with the sort of mixed media world is where you can mix all of it. It doesn't matter if you have watercolor or acrylics or pastels or pencil or whatever, but as soon as you go into oil, you sort of need to stay there. Yeah, you can do like an underpainting with acrylic or a little bit, but oil is a very one medium kind of lane. And also they have they have more rules on how to deal. You need specific stuff to deal with it, with different oils and solutions and everything. And it feels like it is a bigger deal starting with oils. So I'm just like, nope.
You're like, nope. I would agree with that. For me, I enjoy painting in oils, and I just find it's a rigmarole is the word I would use. There's a lot of setup, and then you've got to wait for layers to dry, and sometimes that takes forever. And then you've got all the cleanup to do afterwards as well. There's all the chemicals, there's all the smells. And one thing that I found that's made that a lot better is the water mixable oil paint you can get. It's not quite the same as using, bona fide oil paint, but it's certainly a better way for maybe someone like you who hates oil painting to be able to do it and get the the feel for it and the layers and everything without having to mess about with all the white spirit and all the rest of it, and then having to wait like 6 months for it to actually dry properly. So yeah, I totally understand that. I don't agree with you, but I understand it, because a lot of people just don't have time for it, and they don't have the space as well to store easels and all these other bits and pieces. Whereas yourself, if you've got a good set of synthetic brushes, you can use them for watercolour, you can use them for acrylic. So yeah, it's like a convenience factor almost as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and just like you said, like especially the space here, I'm very lucky that I have a dedicated space for the shop, for the business, and for the studio sort of, but it is a very minimal space. And I did try oil a few years ago, and the painting never finished because I had it standing to dry, and then one dog, and then one day my dog, she took an interest in it, and she was very pretty, had a very pretty purple little fringe for a few days, and I was like, nope.
Was that Viola?
Yep. I mean, it suited her. It was perfect. Viola with her violet curls, But my mom and dad were not so happy about it, and I was like, okay, fair enough. So.
Did you just cut it off there before you make it any more different colours? That's hilarious. All right, this is my favourite question, and I asked Jamie this question last year as well. What's the strangest thing that you've ever painted?
Breasts.
I was totally not expecting. You painted a pair of boobs?
Oh, I painted many of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have that in context? Were you doing like life painting? Or did you just decide to paint a pair of boobs?
Well, it started out with life drawing. That was drawing like people. I tried to improve my people drawing skills, and I was looking at her and I was like wondering like at her boobs, and I was like, I wonder what it would look like if I put my glitter paint on stretch marks, like type gear stripes sort of, because I heard that before that that you should be proud of your stretch marks and all of that, and that's
very profound. That's very profound.
I mean, I do think sometimes. And it sort of just kept me going, and I made 5 or 6 pairs. And I also made a video talking about my relationship to my breast, or more like my stretch marks, I would say. Okay. And so I made this whole set with the breasts, and then a different color of my metallic paint for the scars. And I also made a pair that didn't have like any breast. It was just the scar from when they're no longer there.
Okay.
I think
from a mastectomy.
Yeah, I think many like me have relationship to others who have gone through it, if they haven't gone through it themselves. And I mean, they're still breasts, even if they're not all the way there. So I wanted to sort of include So yeah, that is a little bit strange, but I'm very happy with him. So
I would say that is a most excellent, strange thing to have painted, and it's there's a message behind it as well. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, Julia. I really, really am. What's the best piece of art advice that you've ever been given?
I think the best advice actually comes from my time in school when I was in school, in agricultural school, and I was doing it to be a horse groom, and I was riding quite a lot. And we had this saying that it is hours in the saddle. Like, it doesn't matter what horse you're riding, what teacher you have or instructor, it's all about how many hours you spend in the saddle. And I very quickly brought that with me to painting. Like, it doesn't matter what I am painting, what pencils or what paper or anything. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just doing it. You get experience from doing it. So even that is a very boring advice, but just like having the reference or the experience of sitting long times drawing can produce a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. Obviously, the whole point of being in the cave here is to play with art stuff. And a lot of the time it's not serious. And, I'm picking up prompts with some random set of markers I've got in a box and just creating something. And I think as well, if in what you're saying, if you take away that expectation, I've got to sit down for 6 hours and produce this pair of boobs or whatever it is you're going to do, if you take that expectation away and just sit and go through the process, the more you do that, the better you're going to get and the more relaxed you're going to be with your art as well. And obviously the more hours you put in, the more you're going to get out of it, aren't you? Very sound advice.
Also the something that many, I think, forget when we do all of these, we're watching YouTube tutorials and all of that, and we hear people talking about the ugly face. And I think that you won't know yourself when you're starting your ugly face and what you need to do to progress out of it to complete your piece without having all of those hours behind you. You just need to fight through it. And sometimes it's just knowing like that is a lost cause, we need to give up and start over.
That's quite interesting that you say that. I found that it took me a number of years, I would say probably about 2 years, to recognise that the ugly phase was just that, the ugly phase, and to push through. Before that, I always felt like that doubt coming in, thinking, this isn't going to turn out right because it looks like this. At what stage were you able to identify that the ugly phase was the ugly phase?
Tough question. I think it's a hard question to answer because I feel like I have had many different stages of that, realizing that I need to push through it. And I think it's very much like this, and I keep coming back to my experience with riding horses, because the learning and the progressing is so similar, even if it is completely different sides of performing or activating your brain. But it is, you're starting to learn a little bit and you get better, and then you sort of plateau, and then you reach something, you push up, and then you keep going. And I think I think those realizations have come slowly, and I still get them, even if they're not like as big, like, oh crap, I forgot something or something. But I still get those small, like, oh, if I just keep on going with this, or it could be the completely opposite and say, don't do that, skip that step, and let's see what happens, sort of.
Yeah. That's quite... Well, I'm quite interested as well, now that you've said that, and I'm wondering if that's going to continue to happen to me, because in terms of art journeys, mine is very young compared to yours, because, well, that's not even 4 years. So I will keep that in the back of my tiny little brain, and in years to come I'll be like, I remember Julia mentioned this. That sounds like that definitely. So I don't know whether that kind of negates this next question. Is that the piece of art advice that you would give to someone else, or do you have other pearls of wisdom that you would tell people if they were starting out on an arting journey?
Yeah, I think I would say like the hours in the saddle or butt in the chair. You just need to sit down and do it. And I think I would also say that we sometimes forget that it's good to have something higher. So if you're drawing because you want to relax and you want to feel like you want to get a feeling out of it, then that is your main thing, and you should focus on stuff that makes you feel good. I don't think anybody is drawing to make you feel bad, so that's why I'm saying good.
But I want to feel bad today, let's draw.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just love the feeling of taking a brush and just painting on the paper, then why should you force yourself and sitting and drawing? That is stupid. If you, on the other hand, are doing art because you want to improve, you want to learn, you want to grow as an artist and all of that, then yeah, hours drawing is perfect. But I think just keeping in mind why you are doing what you're doing sometimes get lost, because we have just told ourselves we're going to do this, and then we have like, but why? And I am guilty of this too. Some days I'm like, why am I doing this?
Why am I here?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing good coming onto the paper. I have no inspiration whatsoever. It's better just to leave and walk out. And then usually the next day I'm like, yeah, I'm painting for this. And sometimes it gets kind of nice results. So, yeah.
It is really easy to lose sight of things. I think as well, especially with social media pressures and consumer pressures as well. You know, I've got to have this set of pencils, I've got to have this drawing tablet. And I think sometimes that kind of, you know, clouds your actual purpose. And I think you're absolutely right. You're full of wisdom, Julia. I was like, I'm sitting here going, yeah, she's right. This is very insightful today.
Who knew, right?
No, I wasn't supposed to be here to learn things today, but here I am. So good. Okay, that's really good information, and I would urge anyone that's watching this, if you are a newer artist, to take these points that Julia has made on board, because they are very, very good points indeed. Right, let's talk about less serious things now, because that's what we do. So we've got just a couple of fun questions here for you, Julia. What is a word or phrase that you overuse? I would also be interested to know if you have a Swedish one and an English one.
I mean, I say fair enough quite a lot, which I feel like is fair enough because it sort of covers everything. I try to be, like life is not completely fair, but it's fair enough, Yeah. I'm extremely optimistic, as you can hear. I also
that's a Swedish thing.
I mean, I also use other words that we should not mention here, but sometimes you just need like those really like strong words, and you need to get it out. I feel like
teach us a swear word in Swedish.
Jävlar.
Fan. And what does that mean?
Jävlar. It's sort of like you say like bollocks, or it's sort of it translates like you sort of use it in the same sense, but it means like devils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not. I mean.
So is that just mild potty mouth then? That's not, not like dropping the F-bomb or anything?
If you were a kid and you say it in a classroom, you would definitely get a call to your parents.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. You don't say it to other people here, but, if somebody says it, it's serious, but they're not, like, mean about it.
Right, okay. So, yeah, that is kind of the equivalent of using something like bollocks. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. I'm not going to ask you to spell that. We'll maybe put it up on the screen in Swedish so that people can see it written down.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's one of those things in Swedish that we can share. It's good to share stuff.
It's good to share bollocks, okay. Right, can you tell us something funny or unusual about yourself?
No, I'm kind of boring and regular. Um, I don't really do anything funny. I mean, I put myself out on the internet. That's kind of hilarious to other people. So,
Julia, don't say these things.
Oh, I don't know.
Just for the cavers' benefit here, I would just like to point out that Julia and I, our nationalities obviously are different, but we find that there's a lot of similarities between the Swedish and the Scots. We're very self-deprecating and we're generally quite sarcastic, so I'm not surprised that this has come out of Julia's mouth at all.
Oh, my neighbour, he's like 75, and he came up to me the other day. He was like, Julia, I saw you on the computer.
That's it, you're a celebrity.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
Oh, hi, Albert! Oh, look at him. He's just so amazing. Isn't he just the prettiest boy?
He is.
He really is.
Well, he thinks so anyway. Yeah.
He's just amazing. I just want to cuddle him. I really do. I really do. Oh, he's amazing. So yeah, we were talking earlier about the fact that Julia has her YouTube channel and she vlogs, and Albert features quite heavily in that.
Yeah, that's why people are watching. I mean, we can't lie. Look at that face!
How can you not love that face, to be fair? How do you go about deciding what goes into your vlog and what doesn't? Do you just like walk about with a camera all the time and then think later on, nah, I'm not going to include that, or yeah, I'm going to include that?
Yeah, it's sort of, yeah. I mean, my vlogs are not like any masterpieces in any way. They are just like what I do during the day. I try to think a little bit of what I can include, so it's not just me jabbering on about boring stuff. So I try to remember to film like when we're out walking, because nature here is kind of pretty, and you know, he is kind of pretty, and you know, a little bit. Sometimes I try to be like fancy and different angles, but yeah, I also do quite a lot of sit down talk to camera. That I when I'm doing editing, I'm like, oh my god, Julia, nobody want to watch this. Cut it out. So yeah, it is. It's very much like what I'm in the mood to film, and then in the mood like I have when I'm editing, because if I'm sick of myself that day, it will be a very short vlog or very little talking because I'm so sick of myself. So
Don't want to look at myself. Go away. I'm fascinated by the vlogging side of things, because obviously something that I have no experience of, and the fact that there's a lot of editing attached to it makes me absolutely not want to do it.
Yeah.
Does it take longer? I don't actually think I need to ask that question. Does it take longer to edit a vlog than it would to edit, say, like an art tutorial video or, you know, a paint making video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that then.
When you do like an art video, no matter what kind of video it is, you sort of have a red line. You're starting with this, you're explaining the process or something, and then it ends. But with a vlog, you don't really have a correct start, or like you sort of start with you putting up the camera, and then you just go through. And now I do it roughly like Monday to Friday, sort of, and you just like whatever, like there is no clear line, like a red line through it, and I can be jabbering on about something, doing something, and then we do, I mean, so
something else or something else or something.
Yeah. And then you need to remember, like, if you're sitting down and you're talking to someone, like, explaining your thought, it's not like somebody is looking at you, answering this, saying, like, can you answer this question? Be precise. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. You're trying to explain something that is a question you have made up yourself, and then you start jabbing on about that, which leads you into another thought, because there's nobody here that will say, well, keep on track now. So when you come to editing, there's 10 minutes of me jabbering on, and 2 of those minutes I'm not even there because I've walked out with Albert, so...
High quality vlog footage right there. Yeah, I think I'll just leave the vlogging to you. Oh dear. Okay, for our final question, it's not really a question, it's a little bit of a challenge. You've got the next 15 seconds to talk about your newest product. So, are you ready?
Oh, should I show it?
Yes, absolutely. I'll wait for goodies to be seen on screen. This is good, Cavers, isn't it?
So.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready. Okay.
1, 2, 3, go!
So the new collection of products that are coming to Julia K Art Studio will be in February. These 2 sets will be out. We have one pastel palette and one pastel metallic palette. And those will be out in the beginning of February 2022.
You're absolutely freaking gorgeous. I'm sitting there like, oh my god, look at the pretty colours. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Julia. If you would like to check out some of Julia's products, I do stock some of her dot cards in the stash shop. If you want a full comprehensive stick your eyeballs in all the colours type of experience, you need to head over to Julia's Etsy store. The link for that will be underneath the video in the description, along with the link to her YouTube channel as well, so that you can go and watch her take Albert for walks and make paint and all those kind of things. Julia, I want to thank you so much for being a really good sport today. The thing that's been amusing me the whole way through this interview is that every time you get animated, your shirt was jingling. It really made me laugh. It's so good. Thank you for participating in Cavemas, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a little bit more of your products very soon here in the cave. So have a good day, and thanks for coming and talking to us. Bye! Julia is great, isn't she? Okay, it is giveaway time as promised. I have here, wait for it, these tiny, shiny, beautiful little palettes that Julia was just talking about. And I have one of each. I have the pastel metallic set here, which comprises of 6 colours, and I also have the plain pastel set here as well. Now these are both up for grabs, so I'm giving one away to a lucky caver, so 1 each, so I have 2 to give away. But in addition, I've just put big thumbprints all over that. In addition to the actual paint palettes as well, you are going to get a little Julia K goodie pack with some of her stickers and things in it as well. So there will be one of those each to go with each of these paint palettes. If you would like to enter this giveaway, I want you to go down into the comments and either type in the word pastel, and that is for the plain set, or type in the word metallic if you would like the shimmery ones. And if you do that, you will be entered into the draw, which again will be drawn and announced on the 1st of January in the last Cavemas video. If you can't wait that long, and you need a Julia fix right now, we are privileged enough. Julia has been generous enough to give us a discount code for the cave. So if you type in this into the voucher code at checkout, you will get a discount on your purchases from Julia's Etsy store. Again, the link to her store and also to her YouTube channel is down below in the description. So if you're going to enter, best of luck to you. I want to thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you back in the cave tomorrow for another video. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and bye for now.